Divine Boar's March. It's a song about a medieval, late medieval Irish leader.
All right. Now we all know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Live on the air.
It was fighting against the British, of course.
All right.
So.
You get an education here at Jubilee Circle, so welcome this morning. I am Candace Shalou, the spiritual director here at Jubilee Circle, and we just got a little history lesson from Michael over there. All right, so welcome everyone. Thanks so much for being here with us this morning. And we are wrapping up our Via Negativa theme of I Make My Own Sunshine this morning. This quarter, we have been exploring ways to keep the light of the divine shining within even as we go through this season of darkness in very literal and non-literal ways. So as we head into Thanksgiving next week, 2020 can present us with a struggle on how to, count our blessings. Perhaps the fact that this year is nearly over could be one thing that we are thankful for. Yeah, right. But despite the challenges of this year, I'm sure we can all come up with a few things that stood out for us that we can be grateful for. However, just a point of consideration for everyone, have you considered the possibility that the total ingratitude of this year, the total devastation that events of this year have wrought on so many, could also be a source of gratitude? And I'm not talking about that cynical kind of gratitude that counts as blessings, things that befell other people but seem to miss your doorstep somehow. No, I'm talking about being willing to see this year differently, to focus on the previously unnoticed miracles that came through despite the misery. We are on the verge of a vaccine for this disease, and I know that's not going to cure everything. There's still a long way to go with the coronavirus. But it has wiped out so many lives in this world, and the effort to fight this disease is a testament.
Sorry. My bad.
Keith.
We love
Keith. We love it when he shows up. All right. Keith, you here now, baby? You here? You here? You good? All right.
I'm good.
All right, man. All right. The effort to fight this disease is a testament to how science has been the key to our species' survival throughout the millennia. This pandemic has brought us together in ways that we could have not imagined without it. We have rallied around science. We have rallied around our first responders, most of us anyway. We have rallied around our friends and family affected by this pandemic and the associated hardships that it has brought to all of us in some form or another. But maybe I was wrong. Maybe there's a lot to be grateful for in this past year once we change our perspective and see through all the ingratitude that we think we see around us. Jubilants, as this year thankfully draws to a close, I invite you to reconsider all of those things that you deemed bad or irredeemable about this year. And I invite you, ask for a miracle, which is a new perspective. And I'm sure all the ensuing miracles will be making you say, oh yeah. Rise as you're able, for those of you here in the building, and if you want to stand up and stretch your legs, that's a good thing too. Out there in TV land, and we burn sage as a reminder that this is a safe and a sacred time, and we remember the elements, the fire and the earth and the water and the air, and we call the four directions to orient ourselves in this sacred time and space.
Let us turn and face the east. Thank you, Holy One, for this day. We so often roll out of bed thinking about all the things we need to do, all the things left undone from the previous day, that we hardly take a moment to stop and simply say thank you for each new day you've seen fit to bless us with. Forgive us, Holy One, for taking any sunrise for granted. Awaken us now to be grateful for this very moment and to say thank you. Quarter turn to the right and we face the south. Thank you, Holy One, for the heat from the south. So often we complain about the heat, the sweat and discomfort it induces, and we begin to wish away our days, longing for the cooler days of the fall. Forgive us, Holy One, When we take each sweaty, uncomfortable day for granted, or in those moments when we wish it away, awaken us now to be grateful for the warmth in the air and to say thank you. Quarter turn to the right and we face the west. Thank you, Holy One, for the wisdom of the West. As this day ends and the sun sinks into its home in the west, remind us to give thanks for every moment of this day. Remind us as well to let go of the day's disappointments, the day's frustrations, and the recalcitrant people we may encounter. Forgive us, Holy One, when we let the baggage of the day clutter up our lives. Awaken us now to be grateful, even as the challenges of the day await us, and to say thank you. Quarter turn to the right, and we face the north. Thank you, Holy One, for the cold winds from the north. As we shiver and bundle up against its bone-chilling blasts, we think of the warmer days and long to slip out of our sweaters and into our skivvies. Forgive us, Holy One, when we forget to be in the moment, especially when those winter winds blow into our inner lives, chilling our warmth for ourselves and others. Awaken us now to be grateful, even in the barren times of winter around us or in us, and to say thank you. Turn back toward the center. We are all a mix of grateful and ungrateful people. We are certainly on both sides of the thank you coin, quick to give thanks for the good times and curse the world in our bad times. I invite you, Jubilants, to learn the value of saying thank you in all times, in all places, and in all situations. It really is just another way to always say, oh yeah.
All right, remain standing or sitting or relaxing, or however you're spending your morning this morning. And now the banjo needs to be tuned again.
Well,
Pop that string.
Pop that string. We got a little, yeah. That's what happens. All right, so we'll sing a little bit of Alanis Morissette for you this morning, and you can always find the bulletin and follow along at what we're doing this morning by going to jubileecircle.com or to our Facebook page. You can download a PDF copy of the bulletin and sing along with us and read along with us. All right. How about getting off of these antibiotics? How about stopping eating when I'm full of? How about them transparent dangling carrots? How about that ever elusive poodle? Thank you, India. Thank you, terror. Thank you, disillusionment. Thank you, frailty. Thank you, consequence. Thank you, silence. How about me not blaming you for everything? How about me enjoying the moment for once? How about how good it feels to finally forgive you? How about grieving it all one at a time? Thank you, India. Thank you, terror. Thank you, disillusionment. Thank you, frailty. Thank you, consequence. Thank you, silence. The moment I let go of it was the moment I got more than I could handle. The moment I jumped off of it was the moment I touched down.
unabashedly bawling your eyes out. How about not equating death with stopping? Thank you, India. Thank you, Providence. Thank you, disillusionment. Thank you, nothingness. Thank you, clarity. Thank you, silence. Thank you, nothingness. Thank you, clarity. Thank you, silence.
Oh, yeah, all right. You may be seated. And thanks over here to all the amazing band members. Janice Mewborn over here on the banjo and vocals, and it has been gone for the past couple of weeks. And we're so glad that you're back. So welcome back, Janice. We have Trisha Fopp over here on the guitar and vocals, and Michael Reisman over there on everything else, keyboards, violin, or whatever you toss to him over there, mandolin, all good stuff. Beth DeHart over there on the drums, and last but certainly not in the least, Keith Edwards. Bassist extraordinaire and phone fiddler extraordinaire. That would be
rock bass player in South Carolina.
right. Okay. And humble. He's humble too. All right. So welcome again, everyone, to Jubilee Circle. Thanks for joining us this morning. Jubilee Circle. I have said the same thing about Jubilee Circle for the past 10 years. So today I'm going to say it a little differently, so y'all pay attention. This is not, this is where y'all tune out, just because you've heard me say these words for 10 years. It's going to be brand new. It's a brand new experience today, people.
What?
Yeah, pay attention. A little bit about Jubilee Circle. We are an inclusive, progressive interfaith community here in Columbia, South Carolina, for those of you who may be watching from out of state. We teach the timeless common wisdom of love and unity found in mainstream religions, metaphysical philosophies, mysticism, and the teachings of inspired secular and religious leaders. We seek to create a space for everyone, to transform spiritually, to find life's deeper meaning, to love wastefully, to engage the world peacefully, and to do justice, all in an effort to discover how to live into their true divine self. And we also recognize that we are all God's good creation. We are all formed in love and in joy. We humans often forget this, though. We believe instead that we're lost in this world of paradox, where we encounter others as both beautiful and ugly, as both good and bad, as both generous and stingy, as both loving and
Recalcitrant.
that stayed the same, right? Recalcitrant. Let us remember, though, our function here, Jubilants, it is to continually return to the home that we have never truly left, while we embody and become an open channel for the love that created us all. And that should make you say,
Oh, yeah.
all right. So, a few announcements as we move forward. Next Sunday, the 29th, we're wrapping up the Via Negativa this week. And so we're going to begin Oxney, right. It stands for Advent, Christmas, Hanukkah, Solstice, Kwanzaa, New Year's, and Epiphany. So happy, Merry Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, something like that, yeah.
Nice.
Something like, yeah, when you sneeze, yeah. Oxney, right.
Gesundheit.
So our theme of this mini Via will be welcoming divine disruption. This past year, I think it's taught us a little bit about disruption and maybe how to handle it and maybe how we haven't handled it so well. So we're going to talk about some of the tools that we can use when we find, especially our spiritual journeys, being disrupted. So next week we're going to use music from Jimmy Cliff as we learn how to be divine disruptive rebels and cause our own little disruption in the world. All right. So the building is open, y'all. I know what's going on out there. But if you feel comfortable and you want to come in person, we'll mask up and do that and have a good time here in the building if you do want to come and be with us here. There's a Zoom talk back after the celebration, of course, and a link is posted at the website at jubileecircle.com or on our Facebook page. And if I'm forgetting anything, speak up. Nope. All right.
Cece,
I didn't introduce Cece. I didn't.
Back.
That's right. Cece, if back here by Michael, is our
she's a member of the band.
She's a member of the band. It's Cece and the Recalcitrants, and you know, we can't do it without Cece. Cece goes home with Trisha, but I think we all own Cece. All right.
Communal dog.
That's right. Community puppy. That's our Jubilee mascot. Speaking of Jubilee mascots.
Nice. He's masked up.
He is. He's masked up. He's our mascot. Lee McEachern is going to come up and read the readings for us. So hear these wise and holy words from this wise and holy masked man.
Thank you. I'm going to take it off so I can read. Okay. From the Jesus story, Matthew 13:3-9. Listen, a sower went out to sow. And as he sowed, some seeds fell on the path, and the birds came and ate them up. Other seeds fell on rocky ground, where they did not have much soil, and they sprang up quickly, since they had no depth of soil. But when the sun rose, they were scorched, and since they had no root, they withered away. Other seeds fell among thorns, and the thorns grew up and choked them. Other seeds fell on good soil and brought forth grain, some 100-fold, some 60, some 30. Let anyone with ears listen. And from A Course in Miracles, Lesson 197, you make attempts at kindness and forgiveness, yet you turn them to attack again unless you find external gratitude and lavish thanks. Your gifts must be received with honor, lest they be withdrawn. And so you think God's gifts are loans at best, at worst, deceptions which would cheat you of defenses. It does not matter if another thinks your gifts unworthy. In the mind of your siblings, there is a part that joins with yours in thanking you. It does not matter if your gifts seem lost and ineffectual. They are received where they are given. In your gratitude are they accepted universally and thankfully acknowledged by the heart of God herself. And would you take them back when God has gratefully accepted them? Be you free of all ingratitude to anyone who makes yourself complete. And from this self is no one left outside. And from the Muslim mystic poet Hafiz, light will someday split you open. Even if your life is now a cage, little by little, you will turn into stars, little by little. You will turn into the whole sweet amorous universe. Love will surely burst you wide open into an unfettered, booming new galaxy. You will become so free in a wonderful, secret and pure love that flows from a conscious, one-pointed, infinite light. Even then, my dear, the beloved will have fulfilled just a fraction of a promise he wrote upon your heart. For divine seed, the crown of destiny, is hidden and sown on an ancient fertile plain you hold the title to. Oh, look again within yourself, for I know you were once the elegant host to all the marvels in creation, when your soul begins to ever bloom and laugh and spin in eternal ecstasy. Oh, little by little, you will turn into God. Thank you.
These are wise and holy words. Thanks be to the holy. All creation is holy word. All creation speaks volumes of the holy. Hallelujah. Let's stand and sing this is going to be a new song next time, new via. So enjoy this song. 2, 3, 4. I think we knew this song. Everything is wonderful. Everything is great. Free as a bird singing outside my window pane. Got a fresh new start. It's a brand new day. And I got lots of love to give away. 'Cause it don't matter if it's raining, nothing can faze me. I make my own sunshine. And comes from an iconic kind of rock band that only a few people, I think, have heard of.
Obscure.
New to me.
It's really an obscure band called the Grateful Dead. This song is called Ripple, and it comes from their 1970 release, American Beauty. Okay. 2, 3, 4. If my words did glow with the gold of sunshine, and my tunes were played on the harp unstrung, would you hear my voice come through the music? Would you hold it near as it was your own? It's hand-me-down. The thoughts are broken. Perhaps they're better left unsung. I do not know. Don't really care. Let there be songs to fill the air. Ripple in still water when there is no pebble toss, no wind to blow. A day or so after the election, I posted this meme on Facebook that encouraged people to be kind and seek to create a sense of unity, especially with those whose candidate lost. And I received one response that immediately flooded me with several emotions that ranged from curiosity and amusement to outright anger. The person who posted it, it was the sister of my ex. It's someone who I have spent a lot of time with over the past 18 years, and she responded really sarcastically to my call for unity by saying, "Oh, now it's all about unity. Such hypocrisy. Thanks for the laugh this morning." And I sat there and just looked at those words for a really long few minutes, feeling all the feels, that just came through me. And my first impulse, of course, was to defend myself. But as we learned last week, such defenses are useless and usually just result in deeper feelings of separation. That impulse, though, it was rooted in this relationship that I thought she and I had shared over the years. I thought that I had been the sower of seeds of love and unity long before the election, both online and in the real world. I thought perhaps she would know that because she's attended Jubilee a few times in the past. She's seen all this in action. And so my shock, it turned to confusion and then a little bit of self-recrimination. I mean, maybe I wasn't doing such a good job at sowing seeds of love and unity. Maybe I was just falling down on the job, but then I got angry. Of course I'm sowing seeds of love and unity. It's what I'm called to do. I'm the queen of love and unity, damn it. And don't you dare say otherwise. And then it hit me, of course, her reaction. It had absolutely nothing to do with me. She is exactly where I was in 2016, lashing out at those who I believed had stolen the election with the help of foreign actors and voter suppression and idiots who voted for third-party candidates, not to mention those who didn't vote at all. Did I say I was angry? Did I mention that? She's understandably angry. And in that moment, I felt compassion. I still didn't respond to her, but she really wasn't looking for that. She simply needed to get it out, and she put it out there. So I made space for her. And so did everybody else on my page. Nobody challenged her, nobody attacked her, and that I thought, well, maybe that's at least some evidence that I've made some progress in being the voice for love and unity. It didn't turn into a fight. My reaction to this episode reminds me, however, that I am still not anywhere near an enlightened master. I do feel called to teach about love and unity, but in this moment of challenge, of course, I allowed the ego to speak first and speak loudest. At least it didn't type.
That's a big
But my first reactions were ones of anger and separation before I could even muster up that little bit of love and unity. Today's reading from the Course, it says, "You make attempts at kindness and forgiveness, yet you turn them to attack again. Unless you find external gratitude and lavish thanks, your gifts must be received with honor, lest they be withdrawn." The fact that my ex-sister-in-law wasn't heaping praise and gratitude on me for being such a wonderful cheerleader for love and unity, it made me want to withdraw those very same gifts that I wanted to give her in the first place and in the rest of the world in that moment. It made me want to be stingy in my sowing of that love and unity and withhold it from her in particular. So as we approach Thanksgiving this week, we are reminded that this is a season of gratitude. And we think gratitude is easy. We think it's just about calculating and cataloging all of our blessings and seeing how the universe has been good to us and provided for us. And maybe for those we love, and we don't care about the people we don't care about, This lesson, it shows a different side of gratitude and how it can become a tool of separation when we leave it in the hands of the ego. We want to be thanked. We want to be recognized for the gifts we give to others and to the world. And when we aren't, we are going to snatch those gifts back so quick it'll make your head spin. This is what I wanted in that moment, to receive just a little thank you for being so loving and unifying. Doggone it. But this lesson reminds me, it can be but my gratitude I earn. That means gratitude, when it is rightly practiced, is a common characteristic of the divinity that we all share. And when we can realize that it can be but my gratitude I earn, then ingratitude is impossible, because every relationship we have presents us the chance to become lavish sowers of love and unity, both within and without. Breathe deep. 2, 3, reach out your hand. If your cup be empty, if your cup is full, may it be again, let it be known. There is a fountain that was not made by the hands of man. There is a road, no simple highway between the dawn and the dark of night. And if you go, no one may follow. That path is full, your steps alone. Ripple in still water, when there is no pebble toss, no wind to blow. A few years ago, I reconnected with a guy who was the only male member of the band I played in when I was in my early 20s. It was the 80s. We knew 4 chords. We could write some crude but clever songs. And we got a few gigs in Athens, Georgia, where, actually great bands like REM and the B-52s got their start. This guy, he was the only true musician in the group. He wrote music. He was in college to learn how to do it even better. He was, and he still is, an accomplished multi-instrumentalist. And he played some of the best guitar solos I think I have ever heard. He improved the marginally okay songs that I wrote with the band, with the bass player. So, he's a great guy, still a great guy. And I made a point of seeing him while I was visiting Atlanta a few years ago, because I got reacquainted with him. I lost track of him. But I saw this episode of a show that airs on one of those backwater cable channels that's called Locked Up Abroad. And I saw his face come up and on the screen and start talking, and he was recounting the several years that he had spent in a Peruvian jail for drug smuggling. Yeah, I was fascinated by his story. I'm like, dude, that's where you've been. All right. And so I looked forward to seeing him again and having him tell me all that in person, over a few beers. And it was the strangest reunion ever. It was like he had not changed one bit since the late 1980s. He had obviously aged physically, of course we both had, But he was not the same. He was exactly the same guy that I had spent weekends with playing in bars and practicing in the lead singer's basement all those years ago. His attitude, his approach to life hadn't changed even one bit, even after doing a stint in a horrible Peruvian jail. And I had a similar experience a few years later with the band's former bass player. She had been my closest friend in high school, and when we met up, I could give her my childhood record collection that she had been coveting since her teen years. She too was just how I remembered, sort of a personality encased in living amber. We had all planned to be rock stars together, the three of us with the other members of the band, and while I had moved on from that dream, my former guitar player, he's still playing in dives with several bands in Atlanta. My former bass player went through a failed marriage, a career change, and is now happily married, living this simple and beautiful life in South Georgia. My life, since that time, has done this complete 180. I spent more than 2 decades as a journalist. I did a few years in academic public relations, got a seminary degree. And here I am, still playing in a band. But one that's way better. Yeah. Y'all are way better. But my focus in life changed. I didn't want to be a musician or a writer to be a star. I wanted to do something that changed the world, that gave people some hope, that helped them awaken to the seeds of love and unity and growth that the Holy is constantly out there tossing our way, and I have felt that way for as long as I can remember. Author and former pastor Rob Bell, in his latest book called Everything is Spiritual, great book by the way, talks about this parable of the sower that Jesus tells. The seeds, he says, all fall on different kinds of soil, and some take root and grow, and others don't. And Jesus, he says, he doesn't offer any explanation for all these different outcomes. It's as if, he writes, Jesus is saying to his students, I don't even get how it works. I just know it does. Okay, not to disagree with Jesus or anything, but the traditional readings of this parable assume that there is something wrong with the soil, that there's some misfortune or willful resistance or recalcitrance involved in the seed not finding a place to take root. Now, when I contemplate the sameness of my friends in the past, it occurs to me that neither of them is a terrible person. There's no bad soil in either of them. And I'm sure if you ask both of them right now, they would tell you that they are very content, happy even, with the way their lives have turned out, and I can just mind my own damn business, right? And it's true. It's not my job. It's not my job to judge how the seeds of love and unity and growth have fallen in their lives and whether or not they have grown. Instead, it is my job, and everyone's job, ultimately, to simply be the generous and grateful sower of those seeds. We are called not just to be changed by the seeds of love and unity and growth that we have received during our lives, but to give them as plentifully as we have received them. The areas where the seeds of love and unity and growth, wherever they end up not taking root, or they're unable to put down deep enough roots to survive the adverse conditions of life, those are the places where we have allowed the ego to rule. It's where we've listened to its loud voice of deception, telling us that it's too dangerous to awaken to our true divine self. Or for some, it just lulls us into belief that we don't even have a true divine self, and it's blasphemy to just believe that kind of thing. What Jesus is pointing out is this. There is only one place within all of us where the good soil resides, and that is our true divine self. The rest of it is just illusion. The Greek word for good, it simply means something that affects the mind agreeably. When that doesn't change, it's not a call for us to judge those who we think haven't sufficiently changed, or even have sufficiently thanked us for the seeds of love and unity we believe we've been spreading. Instead, when all of this happens, when the seeds that we are sowing, they seem to fall and they don't take root anywhere, it's just a call for more love. It's just a call for more seeds, for more unity, for more growth, to be thrown around even more wastefully. For those of us who have done our spiritual work of overturning the hard egoic soil within, we only earn our own gratitude, and that is universal. When we are willing to keep tossing the seeds of blessing, regardless of where they land, or whether we get thanked for our work or not, that's our job. It's our function in the world to always be the sower of these good seeds. And where are we to be tossing these good seeds of love and blessing? Well, the word for ground in Greek in this passage simply means this: the whole wide world. Breathe deep. 2, 3, reach out your hand. If your cup be empty, if your cup is full, may it be again, let it be known. There is a fountain that was not made by the hands of man. There is a road, no simple highway between the dawn and the dark of night. And if you go, no one may follow. That path is for your steps alone. Rippling still water, where there is no pebble tossed, no wind to blow. I succeeded in refraining from posting any answer to my former sister-in-law. Instead, I did what the Course always advises us to do when we can't think of an outward action that feels helpful. I prayed for her. I prayed that her mind and her heart would be at peace, and that her anxiety about the election would be calmed. It's the same prayer I prayed for myself in 2016. And since there is only one of us here, my prayer for her is my prayer for me. I felt that any other action, especially any action in that moment, would have just deepened our sense of separation from one another and highlighted our differences instead of the commonalities that I know that we share. There are certainly times to engage with others over sensitive topics, and there are times when we shouldn't. And Spirit is what can help us to discern which moment is which. The seeds of love and unity and growth that I assumed that she had seen me sowing all these years had apparently been falling in places where they couldn't take root. No one is at fault for that. But now I see that knowledge not as a challenge to my ego to be offended, but it's a challenge to my true divine self to double down, to commit to wastefully sowing even more gifts of love and unity and growth and blessing and peace in this world. It does not matter, the Course says, if another thinks your gifts unworthy. In the mind of your siblings, there is a part that joins with yours in thanking you. It does not matter if your gifts seem lost and ineffectual. They are received where they are given. They are received where they are given, in the mind, in the heart. In your gratitude, the Course says, they are accepted universally and thankfully acknowledged by the heart of God herself. And would you take them back when God has gratefully accepted them? My ego, it wanted some sort of outward recognition for being a good sower of those seeds of love and unity and growth and blessing. And it stings when someone I know and love can't see that kind of gift as coming from me. And I know in that moment, the best way to extend my love was in my thoughts and in my prayers. Well, I know she and I are joined in that divine unity. And in that moment of prayer, my own gratitude is what took root and grew. I was enormously grateful to my ex-sister-in-law for the great gift of learning and knowledge that she had given me in that moment. Without her challenge, I would simply have continued on thinking I was doing just a fine job of sowing love in this world, when I clearly was not. Our call, jubilance, our function in this world is to wastefully sow the seeds of love, to wastefully sow the seeds of unity and blessing and growth and joy and peace, and we will be ridiculed. We will be questioned. We will be accused of happy, slappy spiritual bypass, and people will tell us, no, you're not being loving enough, doggone it. But it doesn't matter. And it shouldn't affect our dedication to being the sowers of love that God has called us to be. Not one of us are enlightened masters. But Hafez promises that if we till our own inner divine soil while we wastefully spread seeds of love and unity around us, a holy light will split us open. We are the host, every single one of us. We are the host to all the marbles, all the marbles. I've lost mine.
Lost mine.
Yeah. We are the host to all the marvels of creation, even those of us who haven't realized that they host the marvels of all creation. It can be a lonely journey. But it is one of mystery. It is one of love. It is an invitation. It is an invitation, jubilants, to be part of that ripple in still water. Nothing outside of ourselves creates that ripple. Not a pebble, not the wind. It is the holy that creates the ripple of love. Our job is simply to keep it going, to increase the ripple until it is a tsunami of love that washes away all of our ideas and beliefs about separation. We are all part of the ripple in the ego's stagnant, still water, whether we realize our role or our function or not. But little by little, jubilants, as that seed of love takes root within each of us, Hafez says, we all turn into stars and universes and galaxies until all that flows from us is a secret and pure love from a conscious, one-pointed, infinite light. That's my favorite line today. Little by little, jubilants, we all return to what we ultimately are, thoughts that have never left the mind of God, that divinity that creates us and still lives in, through, and around us all. And that's a realization that ought to make you say, oh yeah. 2, 3, and 4. Ripple in still water when there is no pebble tossed, no wind to blow. You choose to leave must follow, but if you fall alone. If you should stand, then who's to guide you? If I knew the way, I would take you home. La da da da, la da 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 da, la 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 la. Oh yeah. All right. I invite you in this prayer time, if you have a singing bowl, please use it. If you do not, come on, people. They're so much fun.
Amazon's got it.
Amazon's got them, right. Amazon's got everything. All right. Breathe deeply. I use my words to start the conversation, to become a catalyst for allowing yourself to open up and hear what Spirit has to say to you as this holy conversation continues. Testing 1, 2. All right, there I am. All right. 2, 3, 4. I will meet you with my heart to heart. Let us meet again, and then may we become more of who we are, more of who we are. I will touch you with my soul, soul to soul. Let us touch again, and then may we become more of who you are, more of who you are. I will meet you silently, breath to breath. Let us breathe again, and then may we become more of who you are, more of who you are, more of who you are, more of who we are. Oh yeah. Right. So we will adjourn now in just a second to our Zoom meeting. So you can find the link for the Zoom very easily. It's in the same place that you have been looking for everything else at jubileecircle.com or on our Facebook page. And so we invite you to join us there. We will meet and fellowship and talk with one another and continue the conversation that I have attempted to set in motion with today's message. So I hope that you will join us there. First off, though, I want to thank everyone sincerely, the ones who are keeping us afloat during this time of the coronavirus pandemic. A lot of businesses are not making it, and so and a lot of churches and a lot of people are suffering in this time, and so we're grateful for those who have remembered Jubilee Circle in their tithes and in their offerings and in their support of us, and we hope that you will continue to do that. We are, who knows when things will be comfortable again and we can all gather again. And until that time, we want to maintain our building and our openness and our ministry here in Columbia, South Carolina, and around the world, since now we're all virtual and everything. So we thank you in advance for your gifts, and we thank those who have given gifts in the past. And so now we will head over on to the Zoom, and as we sing our way out, I invite you to remember that it is Meister Eckhart who tells us that if we say thank you, the only prayer we ever say is thank you, it will be enough. And so we all say thank you. And we say,
Oh yeah.
oh yeah. We all walk together, hand in hand, side by side. We all walk together, arms and arms open wide. Make the way by walking, in love we will abide. The path is always open, no traveler is denied. So open up your heart and forget those tears you cried. We all walk together, hand in hand, side by side. We all walk together, hand in hand, and side by side. Oh yeah! All right. So join us over on Zoom if you're not joining us on Zoom.